Beautiful people, at the military parade in China, a lot of things caught the attention of the world, especially the West. You know, they have different perspectives. There are certain things that caught their attention. When it comes to Africa, other things caught our attention. And to the West, it's just about whether this is a threat to them or not. Even their journalists were concerned about wanting to know from Donald Trump if this is a threat to them or not, okay? And one of the things that the Western media project them more was the fact that Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping, you know, they were having conversation while walking, and Vladimir Putin said, "Oh, look, along the line we can even develop medicines that can keep human being alive. We have not, you know, it's kind of a thing that look impossible, but yeah, with effort we may be able to achieve it." So that conversation was ongoing. The Western media, that was their focus in all these things that happen in China. But, lovely family, something interesting caught our attention, which is the fact that when we were watching the parade, one of the things that trended online, especially among the Chinese, on the Chinese chat, was the elderly citizens of China, or the senior citizens of China crying while watching the Victory Day parade. Most of them, they were crying. And when you look at the people, generally, age-wise, these people were in their 70s, 80s, thereabout, you know, 60s. The older generation, I must say. But to the younger generation, we didn't see much cry, but we saw confidence and, you know, proud of your nation. You guys, a young man being proud of their nation, young lady being proud of their nation. That's what we saw in the younger age. Now, the point is, why were the senior citizens crying? That is why you and I, we are here today. We need to understand what is hiding behind those tears and emotion. Why are they crying? It's very necessary to us. When you understand that, then you appreciate growth. And that's one of the things that many people are not paying attention to. I decided to pay attention to it. Lovely people, when you see the Chinese citizens crying during this military parade, especially on occasion like this Victory Day, the tears actually carries mix of emotion, culture, and political meanings to these people. Something you need to understand before you move forward. The people you see crying, the elderly people who are in their 60s, 70s, right now, these people 30 years ago, some were in their 30s. In the 70s, some were in their 20s. I'm being honest with you, because the struggle of China started roughly, let's say, from 1970s thereabout. And when you pay attention critically, lovely people, when we want to talk about the success of China 30 years ago, the people who are in their 60s in China today were in their 30s. The people who were in their 20s 30 years ago in China today, they will be in their 50s going. So the people crying, these are people that saw the shege of the beginning, and they are now seeing the victory that is right in front of them. They saw the poverty side of China as young men, and grew up now to see the success. It's not a thing that they die and the success came later. No, it came during their time. This is history. The main reason behind these tears are national pride and patriotism. Many Chinese see this parade, lovely people, as a symbol of how far China has come from a poor, colonized, war-torn country in the 19th and early 20th century. Move from there to a total global power today. That is historical. The tears reflect deep pride in seeing their country very strong, modern, and respected on world stage today. The people you see crying in China, these are people who were in their youngest age, like 20s, 30s. They saw China endure foreign invasions, opium war, Japanese occupation, and colonial humiliation. So this parade reminds the people of the painful struggle of China. And I'm telling you that these people you see crying, they were in their youthful age. So the young ones who are doing the parade were the children of the people who cry. They fought a battle and the children are going to enjoy it. So the young men, they saw strength. The elderly people, they remember the past, the struggle. Even Xi Jinping was a little bit emotional at some point. These people now have confidence that no nation can invade China in any way. No country can invade China. is telling them that they have confidence that their military is so powerful to protect them. Assurity, security is assured to these people. Now, one thing that I notice, or we notice also, is that the government actually orchestrated the emotional atmosphere that got the people, the elderly people crying, and the younger ones being so confident and emotional. This event that you are seeing right here, it was staged by the government with patriotic songs and giant display of the flag. All the things at the parade were designed to stir emotions in the people. So the people saw hope. They saw how they were a shaken nation yesterday, and today they have become a powerful nation. I think this is a good moment for us to visit the dark days of China and come back to the glorious day of China. Let's educate ourselves. Then you will understand the tears behind the cries, lovely people. In the late 70s, China was very poor, painfully poor. It was the poorest of the poorest. The world looked down on China those days as a backward rural nation. Many African nations, lovely people, Africa countries, including Ghana at the time, were actually richer than China. So I'm asking our leaders, Mr. President John Dramani Mahama and all the leaders that came after Nkrumah, some of them you are alive. Akufo-Addo is there, the former president. We have Kufuor is alive. We want to ask you, what happened? What went wrong in the life of Ghana? That China that we were poor, China that was very poor, and we were richer than China. Today, China is become a global icon, global miracle. What happened to us? Answer us that question as Ghanaians. Now, let's look at the turning point of China. In 1978, China opened its doors. Foreign companies were invited to invest in China. Special economic zones were created in many places in China, and most of these places are nothing than a fishing village. From there, in the 1990s thereabout, China became the factory of the world. China set itself to be the factory of the world. So in the 1980s and 90s, China became the world factory. Clothing, shoes, electronics, toys, everything was made in China. And these days, according to the Chinese themselves, it was a hard labor, but it changed lives. Now, the world began to notice the rise of China in 2001 thereabout. This is what happened. In 2001, China joined the World Trade Organization. This was the beginning of the Chinese integration into the global trade. Immediately, China joined the World Trade Organization. Almost overnight, lovely people, China became the largest exporter in the world. From Africa to America, from Europe to Middle East, Chinese goods were everywhere. The made in China became a global label. And those days, narrative were structured to counter cross the Chinese and make their product not look attractive. So when you buy anything, they'll be like, oh, this is made in China, made in China. So it make it look like when you buy things from China, the things are not quality, just so that, you know, the competition can keep China, but China keep steady, make things available, affordable for the people. And the way China entered the market, I shared that on my live and in some of my videos. You can check it out. If you're not following the platform, you need to do that, because we share very important topic here. By 2010, family, you and I can attest to that. I was very young. China overtook Japan to become the second largest economy on earth. But this is what happened. Interestingly, China wasn't satisfied with just being the workshop of the world. China wanted to innovate, to lead. What do? Billions were invested into technology, science, and infrastructure. Today, China is the world leader in 5G, artificial intelligence, electric car, solar power, and high-speed rail. Lovely family, in just 3 decades, China went from bicycles to bullet trains, from rice field to rocket field. The most important achievement of China and significant achievement of China is not the big building and beautiful AI conversation we are having. It is the people. Since 1978, China has lifted more than 800 million people out of poverty, the single greatest poverty reduction in human history. No nation has ever achieved it so quickly, not even the West. It took the West a long while to get to where they are today. But to China, 30 to 40 years, they are able to achieve this, you are seeing. Now, what is the system behind the success of China? What changed was the economic system of China, from closed socialism to what they themselves call socialism with Chinese characteristic. In simple terms, the government kept control, but they allowed the market to breathe. So China's rise hold a lesson for Africa and the developing world. 30 years ago, the West laughed at China. They called China poor and hopeless, just as they are doing to Mali, Niger, Niger, Burkina Faso, by rating them from the poorest to the poorest and all that. But today, China lend money to the same nations that once mocked it, including Ghana. It shows that no nation is too poor to rise. Only leadership and vision make the difference. Today, China is not just making products, weapons. No, China is building global influence at the same time. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, China is investing in roads, railways, and ports across Africa, Asia, and beyond. Some see these as a threat. I will not mention their name. But one thing is certain, lovely people, China is here to stay, whether you like it or not. From the ashes of poverty, lovely people, China has built a new empire of power and prosperity. In just 40 years, in a blink of an eye in history, China has gone from poor to powerful. These young ones you see here, they are in their 30s to 40s. Back then in the 80s, their fathers who are crying today give birth to them. Look at them, they are enjoying it. That is huge. China is a miracle. What do we do in Africa? We build more churches, recruit more pastors instead of scientists. That's what we do in Africa. We wake up at night not to think critically about how to innovate, but we disturb the Most High in our own times. China don't do that, but look at where they are. Am I saying that praying is wrong? No, but we have been left behind. That's what I'm trying to project to you. Look at China. No nation will impose war on this nation. No, not even the United States. They know, and they are panicking, saying this. To the world, this is beautiful, this is success, but to the West, this is a threat. But anyway, I think African leaders need to understand that this has exposed them. Many of the African nations were richer than China 30 years ago. What happened to us? The only thing we do is voting, changing leaders after leaders, changing dealers after dealers. Look at China. We can't even boast of weapons. Even the weapons we have in Africa, when you shoot a goat, the goat will struggle for 3 months before the goat will die.